Super Dirt Week, racing's biggest party, is all new this year. It's racing, music, camping, and a huge Saturday night finale. See your dirt car racing heroes battle wheel to wheel all week for a chance at glory. Get your tickets at superdirtweek.com or call 844-DIRT-TICKS. The 52nd running of Super Dirt Week, October 7th through the 12th. Be there.
All right, and here we go. Kyle McCord Show is back. Bye week is in the books. There he is. There's QB1. Brian Higgins with you. We'll let the chat get going here. People are getting in. We'll be taking your questions throughout the next half hour here. But, Kyle, welcome back. We did not cancel your show during the off week, so you're still here. What'd you guys do? No game. What'd you do all week?
No game. We golfed a little bit. We went to the Bills-Cardinals game. JB and I did to see some of our former teammates, and then Saturday just watched college football all day. So pretty uneventful, but fun bye week.
All right, how do active college players handle watching football all day? Are you flipping around? You got like multi screens? What's your setup? What are you doing?
The YouTube TV like multi.
I love it.
Screen,
Yeah.
4 games at once, and then JB had his laptop going too. So it was 5 games all at once. Just ordered some food, and we were probably sitting in there for like 4 hours for the noon games.
Yeah, who needs to get up like that? That's overrated. Like, did you have the remote? You're the quarterback. I feel like you should have the remote. Who's in charge?
Yeah, I was in charge, flipping back and forth a little bit. But it got to the point where it was just like we just left all 4 games on and we're watching whatever. But it was good. I can't tell you the last time that we got a chance to just sit down, watch football like regular fans.
Yeah, I'd say most weeks, right? When you're playing on Saturday, even if it's a noon game, you might that game, dinner, maybe you'll watch the night game, right?
Yeah, you'll catch probably the night games. That's it.
All right, people are getting in the chat here. We're going to get some questions going. Anybody in the chat here for the Kyle McCord Show, as we do every week on Tuesdays, get in here, get your questions going, and we will ask them to Kyle throughout. Let's get a little bit in the last game, because we haven't talked to you since that last game. Fun game, right? Like a heck of a game. Got a little nervous there at the end. What popped out to you from last time against Georgia Tech as you had that back and forth?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from that game, I think, we showed ourselves that we can play with whoever and we can compete with whoever. The biggest thing is just finishing, because we had them, I think it was 31-14 with 9 minutes to play. So just as a team, we have to do a better job of shutting the door and closing them out. But I think on offense too, we moved the ball really well, and then really the only time I felt like we didn't score is when we stopped ourselves, whether it was incompletions or just negative plays, whatever the case may be. But I feel like it was ourselves that slowed us down, getting in our own way. So just going back, and I think the bye week was good to clean up those little mistakes and get everybody back healthy on the same page. And now with 2 games, we have a good idea of who we are as an offense and as a team, and just need to continue to build on that.
The offense is cooking here. You guys are putting up some serious points. 8 touchdown passes for you, 2 games in. You were fired. What's the nice way to say this? Fired up after the first drive. The camera found you there.
Yeah.
Lip reading experts can delve into that. What's that like? I mean, you got to be flowing with emotion coming off the field after a touchdown like that.
I mean, I think all week, we were kind of hearing the noise a little bit, and that we weren't going to be able to, compete with them physically. And to go down, score on the first drive, that's exactly what we wanted to do. And I felt like we ran the ball well. We passed the ball well on that first drive. And so, just playing emotional. And, I think whoever that cameraman was needs a raise. That was a good job of sniping me there. But I think it was, good just to trying to get everybody fired up.
So you got Syracuse fans fired up, though. I haven't met anyone watching that was upset by what you were doing. I'm like, Kyle's. I don't think Syracuse is going to be stopped anytime soon on offense based on what you're going down there. All right, we got some questions coming in the chat. Keep them coming for the next half hour or so here on the Kyle McCord Show. Okay, we got T. Murphy here. Do you have a nickname he wants to know?
Not really. I mean, everybody just calls me Kyle. So, no, not really.
Okay. No nickname for Kyle.
Nope.
Okay, so we can work on that over the course of the chat. Here's your chance, because you can't nickname yourself, right? That would be frowned upon.
Yeah, you can't.
Are you a nickname giver outer? Are you nicknaming the other guys?
Yeah, like everybody in the offense has like just naturally kind of a weird nickname from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best one you've come up with since getting here?
I call like LeQuint. I'll call him Wint, like WUINT, and I guess he'll call me Wiley. So like just weird.
Why?
No reason.
Okay.
And then his nickname is Hunnet. Like that's what like he goes by, and so I'll call him LaHunnet, like instead of LeQuint, LaHunnet.
Okay. You toss the "la" in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Aronde instead of OG, Brogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so Kyle is the nicknamer, not the nicknamee.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what the quarterback's job is, right? You gotta organize that offense. All right, what else do we got here? All right, this is from Ryan Mullen. So I think the game Ryan here is referring to is back when McNabb was the quarterback and went into Michigan and won back in the 90s. He wants to know, do you know any history? Apparently, Syracuse fans borrowed the Michigan M club banner from that game. Have you heard this? And as a former Buckeye, how much does that warm your heart that Syracuse fans were borrowing things from Michigan?
I didn't know that. I think that's the banner that when they run out of the tunnel, like they all jump up and hit.
I think that's the one Ryan's talking about.
That's pretty sweet.
Okay, I don't know where it is now. I don't know if it was ever returned or if they had to get a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if somebody has that like sitting in their basement in Syracuse, New York, that's
a good man cave thing, right?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's Ryan brought that up to me a couple weeks ago. I had not heard that story, so that's the first time. Like McNabb, this would have been Kyle. This would have been 98, so before your time.
Yeah.
But McNabb, they had just lost a heartbreaker to Tennessee the week before. I think we can say it now. A bogus pass interference call on Will Allen. Tennessee won the title that year. Then they go into the big house, freshman Tom Brady, and Dwight Freeney sacked him, and Donovan McNabb got himself back into the Heisman race that day. And apparently Syracuse fans were stealing things. So all good. All right, Dom from Carolina wants to know this. During the season, what role, if any, do you guys as players play in recruiting? We know that's going on all the time, players coming in on visits. Like, are you hosting guys during the season? Does Fran put you on calls with guys? How does that work during the year?
Yeah, I think if you have a relationship with one of the guys, whether you went to high school with them or you live in the same area, you might reach out and, just talk to them. And I think for a player, like a high school recruit, it's always good to hear from some of the college guys who are living it. But when kids come on visits, we'll have some of the guys host. I haven't hosted anybody yet the first 2 weeks. I feel like that's the best way of recruiting, honestly, especially if, the players are just being honest and truthful about, what it's like playing for the coaches and what it's like living here and stuff like that. That's the best way to truly know what you're getting into. And so I feel like I said, if you live in the same area or you have a previous relationship with the recruit, I think the coaches are definitely going to want you to talk to them.
Is that mostly for you? I mean, are you mostly talking quarterbacks, or is it guys or how does that balance out?
A little bit of everything. I know it's more so for me in the off season, like talking to guys when they're on visits and stuff like that about the offense and how I like Coach Nixon's offense and the way he coaches and stuff like that and how it compares and just living in there. Like I said, just, how it is to be a student athlete here. And so I try to do as much as I can, just help Coach Fran and the rest of the staff out.
Fran was asked yesterday in his press conference something about Coach Nixon, like what do you like best about him? And his answer was the points.
Yeah,
we like the points. Yeah. How nice is it that you guys are you are putting up the points here so far?
Yeah, no, Coach Nixon, especially last game, I felt like was just on a roll. Like every single third down, pretty much. There's a certain call that I was thinking in my head that okay, it's 3rd and 5. I want this call, and he would call it. Then that's always a good sign when you're on the same page as your offensive coordinator like that, and you really get things rolling. And there was a few plays. I think on the first drive, we might have had a 3rd and long, I want to say, and we called a screen to LeQuint that went for 25 yards and springboarded us into a touchdown. So he was on one last game. Coach Nixon was dealing.
Yeah, I feel there was. I'm trying to remember last game. Is that the one where you guys kind of did that little option pitch on?
Yeah,
was it fourth and short?
Yeah, 4th and 1. Yep.
So that picked it up. Then you get to the last drive, right? It's 3rd and 10. Like, it's no more cuteness, right? You throw it to Arande, the next play is LeQuint, ball game over, right?
Yep.
You get the two best guys involved and end it, right?
Yeah. No, I think in those situations, especially that 3rd down, they went man coverage, which I was kind of surprised. They tried to go man, and Arande got a 1-on-1, and I think that was really like the biggest play probably in the game. You get the first down, you win the game. If you don't, they get the ball back with a chance to go tie it or go win it. So he got 1-on-1, and I think in those big situations, you just want to simplify it as much as you can, and just let your best players work. And so that's what happened. And then, like you said, the very next play, LeQuint with a really hard run, breaking some tackles and getting the first down, and then being smart enough to stay in bounds to keep the clock running. That was a really, really good, underrated play, I feel like, by LeQuint.
Yeah, I mean, he stays in bounds. They don't have enough timeouts left, a couple of knees, and it is ball game at that point. We got Kyle McCord here. It's our weekly Kyle McCord show on Tuesdays, live, of course, on Q Sports Talk. If you're not watching live, if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, you can join us on Tuesdays live and get your questions in the chat. We'll deliver those to Kyle here. Armosaurus says he's impressed by the chemistry you have with your wideouts so far. Wants to know, is that as easy as you make it look? Well, what's it like building chemistry with those guys?
It's not as easy as it looks. It's a lot of time spent together in the winter, watching film and trying to learn the offense together, and then going into spring ball, a lot of trial and error, and then going into summer, a lot of long hours spent out in the heat, throwing and catching and just getting on the same page. And then fall camp too. I feel like that's when we really started to take a step in the right direction. There weren't as many miscues as spring ball, and we're all talking the same language in terms of the offense. And then just throughout the week with the new plays we're putting in, and against our opponent, whoever we're playing, just talking about what I see versus certain look, and when we're in a certain play and stuff like that, and just getting on the same page as them is super important. And then I think when you go out and you're playing in the game, it's a lot of trust. Just giving guys a chance to go make a play and having confidence that they'll be where they need to be. That way you can throw it before they get out of the break, and trust that they'll see it the same way you do, just because of how much time and work that you've put in together.
Yeah, because I think what we've seen so far in 2 weeks, right, is the ball's getting out of your hands, and they haven't gone where they need to go yet. Like, it only takes one guy going in the wrong direction for that to shake you a little bit, right? The fact that everyone's doing all that's got to really point you guys in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that is a lot of what we do in practice. Is I'm gonna throw it to how I see it. I'm gonna trust my eyes and let it rip. And then if we're on the same page, I'll just confirm that it wasn't luck that got us there, and that we were on the same page. And then if not, I'll talk to the guys, and I'll tell them what I see, and then they'll tell me what they see. But it's good to have kind of that open door policy where, like, if I throw a ball and I expect you to be somewhere and you're not there, like, it's not like I'm gonna jump down your neck because that's your fault. Like, they could have saw something completely different, and I have to adapt. And so I feel like that's where we've been really good, is getting to understand each other, and a lot of conversation all throughout practice. Like, we'll go 4 straight reps, and then we'll come to the side and we'll talk the entire time while the other group is in, and then we'll go right back and get another 4 reps and then come off and talk. So it's a really healthy, I think, relationship that I have with all the receivers.
How much with the different guys is there, okay, this guy likes it high or this guy likes it? Do you have like an individual plan for the guys, or is it all just in the game of where the route's supposed to go?
Yeah, I feel like playing quarterback, it's a lot of reading body language, and you can draw it up however you want on a chalkboard, but at the end of the day, like, when you go out and you play, if a guy's giving me body language that he wants a ball thrown up the field, then I'm gonna have to throw it up the field. And if a guy's giving me body language that he's probably gonna slam it down, then I have to anticipate that. And a lot of that comes with reps. And I talked about it, like, playing with Marvin for so long, I knew just based off the way he ran and like how he was getting in and out of his break, like where he was going to be. And that allowed me to throw with anticipation. And that's because of how many reps we've had together and how much conversation we've had about it. And so now, I feel like I've started to get that with all the receivers here. Like I said before, just because of how much time we've spent together, just kind of reading their body language on certain routes against certain defenses.
Marvin figured it out a little bit between week 1 and week 2, huh?
Yeah, I did.
Just a little?
Yeah. I was at the game against Buffalo week 1. And, I feel like you saw what Kyler said after the game. They doubled him a lot, I felt, especially in the red zone. They doubled him and they played a lot of too high and kind of tried to take him away. I know he had the one drop early that, he's super hard on himself. And so he was angry about that, and I can guarantee you this week you probably caught 10,000 jugs. But it was good to see him get going this week again. So I feel like that's just he's just scratching the surface.
He was still mad after the game that he said the only 4 incompletions Kyler threw in the game were targeted to him. That's
how he is.
It's like, dude, you had 140 and 2 touchdowns.
Wired different. Yeah, that's just how he is.
Yeah, helps when dad's in the hall, like every Hall of Fame that exists. All right, what else do we got? All right, here's this is from Jacoby. So earlier this week, you did a podcast with the basketball guys. You were hanging out with Eddie Lampkin and Chapel Moore.
Yeah.
Jacoby wants to know if you're going to play Eddie one-on-one after the season.
I want to. I mean, the only problem from that segment that he was talking about is basketball season and football season overlap.
Yeah.
And then once basketball season's over, I'll be hopefully training for the combine. So the timing probably won't be great. So maybe we will have to see down the line. But I think I could get him.
All right, he's a large guy.
He is.
Yeah, you outquick him, you get around him. What's your basketball game? How good were you? You must have played in high school.
Yeah,
right?
no, I mean, I wish I played in high school.
No?
The basketball coach that we had, he had a rule that if you weren't at the first tryout in November, you couldn't be on the team. And so we would always be playing.
Yeah, you were kind of busy.
Into December. So, I mean, our basketball team, we would have been good. It would have been me, Marvin, would have been on the basketball team, and then a few other really good players. And so, never played in high school, but growing up, I was pretty good shooter. That was really my thing. Defense a little bit at times, but really like to shoot the ball.
All right, that seems a little short-sighted on the how to pick a basketball team in high school.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah, you usually like the starting quarterback is also the point guard or the shooting guard. Like that we're not breaking new ground on that one. That's been done. Greg Paul is from right down the road. He kind of did that. Was the National High School Player of the Year in football and was then Duke's starting point guard for a handful of years. What do we know? All right, what do we got here? T-Takes. Enjoyed your enthusiasm and energy on your run, your first down run. The dome was pumped. You spiked it there a little bit. What was that play like for you?
So we call the play. It was all routes breaking to the right side of the field. So I think it was 3rd and 4, I want to say. And they went man coverage, and when they went man, nobody accounted for the quarterback. And so with everybody breaking to the right side of the field, it kind of left that whole left side vacated and kind of just felt an opening and started to run. And, really I was more mad than anything because I saw how much space there was, and I was trying to catch the edge. And I think it was their D tackle made a good play. He just got enough on me to push me out of bounds. So I was more mad at myself that I didn't get more yards. And just playing free, just spiked it. In hindsight, maybe not the smartest thing to do. I'm very lucky that I didn't get a flag for that. But it got everybody fired up, which I felt like was the benefit to doing that.
All right, it's in the game plan now too, or it's on film, as they say. It's on tape.
Put it on tape.
Yeah. So I don't know how defenses will adjust to that, but we'll see. How fast did Fran remind you of the spike that maybe not next time? I know he brought it up post game.
Yeah, literally right when I got to the sideline. But I mean, he loved the run, he loved the enthusiasm, but like I said, we're lucky that we didn't get a flag. So. Shout out to the ACC officials for that one.
Yes, they were on top of it, so that's good as always. When we look at, Fran said this back in August sometimes, the idea of him wanting you to play more like you were in the schoolyard, right? Mm-hmm. Which I don't know if he means that literally, but it's maybe more the idea of playing loose and out there.
Yeah.
How much does a play like that fit in there, like showing your emotions out on the field, all that stuff you've been doing?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is just trusting what you see, and trusting all the reps that you've put in, and just reacting. And then when a play like that presents itself, just going, not thinking about it and just reacting and just putting your head down and going. And so I think that's kind of what he's been trying to get me to do this entire offseason. And I feel like I'm definitely playing a lot more free because of that. And so I think plays like that kind of just embody everything that he's been looking for.
All right, here's a back half of T-Take's question. So that's one side of things, like the amp, the excitement, the playing free. You get to that 3rd and 10 on the last drive where you completed to Arande. How do you stay composed? He wants to know what's going through your mind where it's like, oh, this is literally the ball game. Like, if this is not complete, they're going to have a chance to go down and win.
Yeah, I think when you're in a moment like that, the biggest and most important thing is just blocking out all the external things. Like you mentioned, like you can't be thinking, okay, like if I don't get this, like, they're going to have a chance to, like, at the end of the day, you have to be super locked into your job. And so, really when I got the play call, I knew exactly what my read cue was going to be, made sure the protection was right. And then just I trusted my eyes, and OG did a really good job on that, beating man-to-man coverage and got open and made a really good catch for the first down. But I think in moments like that, you just get super locked in to the task at hand, and you kind of block everything else out.
It was crazy, right, too, because you guys, with the onside kick in the middle, you hadn't been on the field in a while, right? You had to probably sit on the sideline a long time, then lock back in for that, right?
Yeah, and it was a little weird because, I mean, we scored, I think, with 9 minutes left.
Yeah, something like that.
The touchdown to Arande to go up 17, and then they went on a long drive and scored, got the onside kick, and then went on another pretty long drive. So, like, I hadn't touched the field in a while. Which is tough, but I think the biggest thing is just staying locked in on the sideline, reminding the guys that the game's not over yet, and we're still going to have to go out and make some plays to put the game away. And I felt like the offense, especially not being on the field for a while, did a really good job of that, staying locked in to the game, and then when the opportunity presented itself, going out and executing. Yeah,
looking back here at the box here, their touchdown drives, there was an 11-play drive, then the onside kick, then a 9-play drive. So it was 21 plays there where you guys are not on the field, and then you got to come back and, all right, here's the game. Time to decide it. Okay, who else do we got here? Lukey Lou wants to know about Trevor. What is he doing so well? Why has he become such a weapon this year?
Trevor worked his butt off this offseason. I think really realized the opportunity that he had and just got super locked in this offseason. And, with his mind, his body, everything just getting in tip-top shape. And then I think just trusting, like kind of similar to me, just trusting what he sees. And I feel like the most underrated aspect of Treb's game that doesn't show up on a box score is just his feel for the game, his feel for open space, and understanding, okay, when am I in man coverage and I have to beat my man one-on-one versus when is it zone? I can kind of sit in the zone and understand space like that. And having a guy like that in the slot, it makes my job so much easier. And I feel like when you go back and you watch the film, his route, kind of what I was talking about earlier, on paper, isn't exactly what he runs, but it's because of the coverage, and he adjusts accordingly. So having a guy like that makes my job easier, knowing that he's going to get to the right spot at the right time. And kind of similar, going back again to what I was talking about with the body language, he's a guy that has just been really good at understanding that message of giving me clean body language. So to me, it's no surprise that he's off to such a hot start. And he's becoming a leader too in the locker room. And, I feel like guys are really starting to respect him, obviously, for what he's doing, but as well as who he is off the field.
Yeah, we're rolling through some questions here for Kyle. Get him in the chat. We'll ask him here up until about 11:30 or so. T. Murphy wants to know who's the team prankster? Who's the biggest guy in the locker room pulling stuff over on you guys?
That's a good question. I would probably say JB is up there. JB's up there, and then I would say I would go Deuce Chestnut.
Okay.
Deuce Chestnut too. He always he gets in like rap battles in the locker room and stuff like that, and he never fails to make the guys laugh. So
Okay.
I'd probably say those are my two candidates.
All right, the secondary getting in the mix there.
Yeah.
All right, here's a question from Fish Tender, and this kind of goes to the big world of college sports right now. You know, NIL is such a big thing. You know, your old schools spend a bajillion dollars. Like, you have a deal, everyone's got a deal, like an NIL deal going on. How do you think Syracuse is doing in that space? Like, what can you best tell as a quarterback of how it's going on right now?
I think from the time I first got here, I really felt like Syracuse as a whole just stepped their game up in the NIL space. And, you know, I think obviously it's tough to compete with schools like, you know, USC and Texas who are in big cities like that. But I think Syracuse has done a really good job and just meeting some of the people that have been involved with the NIL here. It's been great. They're super interested and super supportive of all the guys as well as myself. So they've definitely stepped their game up. But I think at the same time, it's going to take really everybody. I think if we really, I mean, not that I'll be here in, you know, the following years to come, but I feel like there's a lot of potential because there's a lot of people up here who are really passionate about the football team. And so I think as everybody can come together and just rally as one, I think they can really, really take it to the next level. But I've been super impressed just with how organized it's been, how many people are, you know, wanting to reach out and, you know, work with us. So it's been great. You know, there's a bunch of different organizations who have been, you know, a part of that. And so, like I said, I think it's just been extremely good to see the community kind of get behind the football team like that.
All right, here's one from Giants season. Oh, we don't need to talk about the Giants season right now. That's just ruining my days. But how is the offense evolving here? Are you talking about getting wide receivers in space and, you know, continuing to churn out those big plays? Where's the next steps we can look for?
I think just consistency. You know, when you go back and you watch really the first 2 weeks, in my mind, two really good teams, but at the same time, I feel like when we didn't score, it was us stopping ourselves, whether it was, you know, just incompletions that shouldn't have been, me missing, you know, passes or, you know, not getting, you know, 6 yards on a run when, you know, we only got 2 or 3, just stuff like that where we're getting in our own way when we don't have to. So just consistency on that level and just, I think, maximizing every play and every opportunity that we have.
Yeah, Armosaurus says I'm sitting next to the Giants QB1 next season like it's no big deal. Okay, we'll see how it goes next year.
We'll see.
It's not. They need a kicker too. If they had a kicker on Sunday, they would have won the freaking game. But that's a whole different thing. Okay, we saw this with Shadur Sanders last week. Ryan Mullen wants to know this. So he had the whole non-handshake thing. Colorado State was talking trash before the games. How do you handle that? If there's a lot of junk going on before the game, during the game, are you a make good guy after, or are you all right? Like, good on you, but I'm going over here now.
No, I think I understand both sides of it. Me personally, you know, I think you can talk all you want before the game, but eventually you have to put the ball down and play. And then after the game, you know, I think as long as everything was, you know, I think fair in the game, like it wasn't like any, you know, guys trying to take like dirty shots or anything like that. You know, I think it's all love and respect after the game. But I understand both sides of it. You know, if you talk a lot of trash throughout the week, and you know, I feel like some guys carry that over, and you know, even after the game, they still remember it. So, but you know, me personally, you know, I don't, you know, any bad blood or whatever. You know, it's just dap it up and, you know, be on our way.
Your head coach seems to remember these things that get said during the week. When you hear him talk like that, what does that do for you guys?
Fires us up, you know, and I feel like when you have a coach that's as genuine and caring as Coach Fran is, you know, it makes guys want to play for him even harder. And so knowing kind of what he had to go through and, you know, knowing a little bit about his backstory and, you know, being doubted, makes guys want to play and win for him just a little more.
All right, time for two more quick ones here. Q4 earn 44, if I'm saying that remotely. There's a lot of numbers in weird orders here. How's Marlo doing?
Marlo's doing well. Yeah, I think he in the recovery process is coming along quite nicely. Already walking without the scooter, which is really good to see. Moving around pretty well, which is exactly what we wanted to see. And I feel like the bye week was good. Not having to play a game without him. And so I think that he's coming along nicely and doing a really good job as being a leader as well, even though he's not on the field.
All right, last one for this week from T. Murphy. Your favorite food or meal?
I'm gonna have to go kind of basic, but pizza and wings.
All right.
I feel like you can never go wrong with that combo.
Have you locked down a good spot in the queues yet? You still testing them out?
I like Mario and Salvo's.
Okay.
That's a good spot. But those wings at Dinosaur, I had them for the first time last week.
The smoked wings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole different vibe there. Okay. There we are. There's the Kyle McCord Show. Next week, if we didn't get to your question, come back next week, 11 o'clock. As always, we'll be joined by Kyle right here. Good luck this Friday night.
Yes, sir.
There
Thank you.
Kyle McCord. We'll talk again to him next week at 11.